Okay, so I just looked at the phone to see what time it was. It was 3:15. I drank in 2 cups of tea this morning, but oh my God, these parasites they're aggressive. So I'm sure my stomach's gonna start growling as they are. I'm ignoring them, and they're having a fit. But something weird about the moon cycles too, which is also weird because we have too many moons. So how the whole thing is just so whacked. And then it's so much about the power we give it with our own minds. And the whole thing about the reprogramming is you open your mind and seeing that you have to reprogram and keep separating and separating. I swear to God, it's mental how I can say things and people think I'm so crazy. That that people really believe that they're flesh and blood and stuff. Like they really don't get, like they just don't get it. I don't know. There's just so many levels, and I know it's moving, but this is just a strange perspective, so I have to share it. It just has been really highlighted to me over, I don't know, definitely I feel like over the last waking hours and already starting these ones of my perspective in a lot of different ways. So I'm going to say some of them. But since that's what keeps being on my mind, I'm sure that's like the twist that's going to keep coming. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. Sometimes it's just like, I have no idea. I'll start talking and I think I'm going to be talking about something else. And all of a sudden I'm talking about something totally different. And I'm just like, what? So anyways, when I keep sleeping on the couch and it's freezing fucking cold. And so I do like to be by the fireplace. And even though that guy was like, oh, we'll get your whole house warm, we're going to get it. It doesn't get warm back there anyways. But still, I like to sleep in the cold. I don't like to sleep in the warmth. But it's just something about, I don't know, the coziness, being by the fire, being by Stella. And I don't know. In the bedroom, there's some weird energy. And every time I'm walking down the hall, there's always things up there just scooting up and looking at me. It's like, that's why I don't want to be in there. Like, there's a full room in there and I hear you all talking. It's like, what? So I don't know. I swear to God, there's portals. And even a couple years ago where I kind of thought it was funny where I was like, there's portals opening by my house. And I thought it was funny. The TV was talking to me and my daughter and stuff. And I thought, it was like, I don't know. But now, after that, where it started being like full and hearing shit and stuff, I was like, oh God, I'm not so happy about that being, whatever happened. I don't know if there was an energetic thing and we made it bit, like, I have no idea. Like if you think about everything being a honeycomb or Swiss cheese kind of thing, and there's portals everywhere. There's portals all over. There it is. Just think about, imagine when you, like a big piece of fabric and all of the webbing, all the threads that go in to make it. There's always, it's not exact, perfect, the whole thing. It has got different densities, different places, different things where the thread does different things. That's the same. That's micro, macro, the representative of this world. So then if you went way out in macro, all those places in between the threads are portals. They're like entryways. They're a different texture. They're a different vibration. They're an entryway, a portal. So we have them all around us. Like, people just, it's just so weird how the real world is like so scared. No, that's crazy. It's like, what? It's so weird. And anyways, okay, so yeah, I was just, when I got up this morning, so I woke up and I was laying there and I was being uncomfortable, where I'm like, oh my God, my shoulder hurts. And I was like, oh my God, sleeping on this couch is kicking my ass. It's so hard. And then I was, but I go through this whole thought process. I won't take you on the ride, but there's a whole process. And so then, oh my gosh, I've got so many things coming in right now. It's like a big fucking ocean wave just went in. Information, things, people, and stuff. It's like, what? Hold on. It overwhelms me. Okay, so, which is one thing, too, that I had noticed when I was watching that movie, because I wanted to watch Doctor Strange, yeah. I wanted to watch it. And because of that one scene that I saw somebody share, that I was like, that is so fucking cool. That is so, I'm just so happy they even put it in a movie. And so I went on to watch it, and which drew me into a little conversation with strangers, like my brother. Like, it's weird how our energies will go, because I went on Plex, and that's his thing of all his movie collection and all this stuff. He's got a whole huge library. And then he makes movies, writes movies, like he's really into all of that stuff. That's how I went and did that movie with him. Like, he was one of those kids that was like, him and his friends got a VHS thing back in the day, got one of those cameras, and we're out making weird little movies and stuff. He really likes to write like creepy horror stuff. Anyway, so, and let's see. Okay. So I went on there to watch that, and I had seen there was a couple other movies, and it seemed like there was some things I wanted to say about those movies. But there's just so much stuff. There's so much I can't keep up. And so then I started to watch Doctor Strange, and I liked it, and I was sitting there thinking, wonder, because there was a lot of stuff they were talking about where I was like, thought it was really good. And that it's information, that people should understand and stuff. But they always put it in a movie, and then making it like a sorcerer and stuff like that, or a superhero, or, but, anyways, so, when I was watching it, and then it started going into this battle with these other galactic beings, and all of this really high super tech, like the buildings flipping on their sides, and all this crazy stuff, and throwing fire and stuff. And then I lost interest, and I was like, oh, this is probably why, because I swear to God, it was a series, this Doctor Strange, or maybe it's a different name or something, but I remember I had a friend who watched it. And like I said, if I had time off, which I was a workaholic, if I had time off, I would cozy down, get my popcorn, probably get my Diet Coke, and get blankets, get in my big chair, and turn on Lifetime for the day. And then when my daughters would get along, when my daughters got along with me back when they were younger, they would come and cozy up with me, and we'd sit and watch Lifetime movies. And so anyways, and that's a whole thing too. Because it's a whole thing of like how you program your kids, and the stuff that, and Lifetime movies were there was a lot of very dark stories. But see, I always see them as that these are our brothers and sisters' stories. These are what's happening for the other souls. This is what's going on. What's happening? It's like, so I like it, but from everybody's different perspective, which I never understood how different mine was from everybody else's. It is, programming like that. And oh, my nose is running. I got tissue. Where it's like I'm so stopped up right in here and in here. So stopped up. Yesterday was really sunny though. But it was freezing fucking cold. So fucking cold. Go outside and your fucking nose feels like you're getting frostbite. Okay, so let me think. So I was watching that show, that movie, and so then it started being really the high tech and all that stuff, and I was like, I totally lost interest. And so then I started thinking about, well, it is the action stuff, because I swear to God, my friend watched a series, and I thought it was Doctor Strange, but I don't know, and she loved it, but I always saw it as just kind of like, I never read any Harry Potter books or any of that stuff, and she liked that kind of stuff. A lot of people were really into that kind of sorcerers and stuff like that. So I was just like that. I thought that was like her kind of show or something. What got me was that scene when the lady pushed the guy out of his body. because I'd come out of mine before. And I also had just had that other weird visual where I was letting go of myself, and it was that same thing. And it was just cool because I had just seen that in my head. And then a couple of days in a row that I was seeing that. And then when I saw it in the movie, I was like, oh, that's so cool. I want to see that. But then when it got so action, I was like, oh, it's sweet. And I was trying to understand myself, because I'm always saying about trying to understand yourself. So I started being like, thinking about it. So that's why I'm like taking on this little journey of my thought process. I can't even cover all the things that was involved in this thought process. But anyway, so I started trying to understand myself. And thinking, now that's probably the overstimulation, because like I said, I'm firecrackers all the time. I drive people crazy because I'm like on, moving, talking, and then plus I'm fucking the roof, or the sky is falling. I knew I was that character. First time I saw him in a movie, I was like, oh, there I am. I mean, in a cartoon when I was a little kid. But that's the dark side of being a seer. I can see up there. I can see there's a little shit. I'm the one up there, like I said, up on that post on the ship, looking out. And I can see a lot of stuff. And so, but you can get a reputation of being such a doomsday. And then, and then when stuff is going, you just sound like a kook. And then on this other level, which I am, that I want to make about this too, now there's a merge going on. Okay, so I'll skip around. Okay, so but yeah, it probably won't make sense. Okay, I gotta go through. So like we have to go through. It's like go through it. God, doesn't that make sense? Because we're gonna go through so much stuff. We're going through the experience. We're going through the process. It's a different entryway. Like I'm saying, we're the pavers of the way. That's what's so cool. And like this is like when I was a kid, how much I wanted to be an astronaut and an adventurer, the first one out there, the first one to step in that place, how I wanted to be that so bad. And here we are. It was just on a different level. I wasn't expecting this level. So then so I was skipping around all over the place. Okay, so let's see. So when I got up, I was excited when I paused the thing and it said 6 hours. I was like, hell yeah, I've been sleeping 6 hours. It didn't say 4. I was like, oh God, I've overslept already. That's nice. But it would be nice to get a little more. But that didn't happen. I was laid there. But so I had already went all the way back, because when I did it again last night, it was all the way over at like 9 hours. It was like, how is it doing this? How is it just going itself all the way over when I rewind it all the way back? And then I'll listen to it. Like I've already had it going it's not like I rewind it and then it just skipped back. No, I'll listen to it for like 20 minutes. It's still on right now. And I meant to change it, but I've dropped the remote somewhere and I can't find it. It's dark. But then when I go to start it tonight, it will say it's been running like 9 hours. It's like, that is weird. I don't know. There's just weird stuff. There's weird shit with time. There's weird shit with all this shit. So, anyways, sorry if I'm just jumping around. Sometimes I can't help it. It's like okay, so back on fucking Duran. Back on, because I was watching him last night before I went to bed, and then I was watching him this morning, and I was just like being mesmerized. And, so he is on this like scooter thing. Sometimes you can see his shadow. And so he's on this scooter thing that is like one big fat wheel. So he's got to have good balance. You got to keep that going. And he's not struggling. He's not ever like, or anything like that. He's just, in some of those shots where you're going through, it's like, fuck, it looks like you're about to hit into people and stuff. It's crazy. And going through cars, it's crazy. So sometimes it's hard to stop. But when I used to see it, I would only see it for a couple seconds. But now I'm sucked in. Like I'm sitting there. Even this morning, it's like, oh, gotta go see what's Duran doing. What's happening with Duran? It's like, oh my God. His thing is called Tour de LA. That's his thing. And so in the shadow, when he goes by, you see, so his camera thing, he's got on a stick. So he's moving it, which to me is like, fuck, 8 hours out there doing that? Like, you would think this guy's got to be in fucking good shape. Fuck. And I don't know. You can't tell by his shadow. He has like a different kind of voice, but I have a different kind of voice. I don't know if people would hear my voice and picture me if they saw, you know what I mean? You don't, people's voices don't always match them. So you can't really, his voice is different. But he also has that California kind of way he talks and stuff. It's like a dialect. And then his attitude, that was what was getting me too. So I got to hear more of his attitude because I was watching longer. And then so I wanted to share a couple of things because the other day it was the stabbings. And then, where's my tissue? Fucking nose. The other day it was the stabbings. And okay, so last night before I went to bed, because it was like 2 times there it was a suspicious package. So I had watched him. It must have been like after I finished recording, I watched it. No, it must have been early in the afternoon or something. And there was a suspicious package. So I was watching that for a long time because he was going around and around. There's tons of cops. They're moving it back. They closed down the freeway exit like it was a big thing. And then he was being there, and then so he was being there, and then he was kept trying to talk to him and stuff, and then he was going out around, and then something came in that they were bringing more stuff like bomb squads or something. So he's like, oh, it must have been real. And this was at the federal building. And so then his thing, the guy came and delivered wood, which that was a whole weird thing. I'm telling you, things are like coming to me. They're just coming to me. And so the wood guy came and brought wood. So I had to go out and do all the wood. So I was out working in the yard for a while. I would say maybe that's why my nose is running, but it fucking runs every day. Just opening and closing the door, whatever the hell. And if you don't, like, I just saw a lady doing a thing about the pickles, and she was looking up all this stuff. And the one at the bottom where she got to, she looked it up, crosses the blood-brain barrier. They put shit in our food that crosses the blood-brain barrier. And then I saw one that said what the blue lights are for. The blue lights are used in the lab with this certain stuff because it promotes it to reformulate itself. So all that stuff that they put in there, and then so places heavily blue light lit, those people, something is in them. And this is like super soldier shit. Like, you got to get in, not to like how that movie, what was getting me is like the intense, the action and all that stuff, you know, like that was way too much for me. And I'm way more of, which I think is funny because when I was younger, I thought, what an old lady kind of thing. But like, I'm way more Murder, She Wrote kind of, you know, I want some brain stimulation. I want something to make me think, to make me try and figure out like, oh, who is it? What did they do? You know, try and figure it out before the other guy does. I'm always doing that. And I do. I always feel I'm good at it. But I love it when they can throw me. I do love that. But, you know, I mean, early on, like, I could see patterns and stuff. But anyways, that's the kind of stuff that I like. And I don't like that action stuff. So it was kind of one of those things where I was noticing something about myself. And a judgment, you know, like old lady kind of stuff, like to sit and want to watch mystery. And then, you know, not fit into the whole action era, you know, the superheroes and all the big box office shit, you know. That was just not my jam. And so anyway, and, you know, people will talk about like these superhero people all the time, you know, and be like, who is that? And it's like an important person in, you know, in this genre. And I have no idea who these people are. And it's so crazy how people think like somebody's so famous, they know them so well and stuff like that. It's like, They're only famous if you're paying attention. You know, what's famous to one person isn't famous to another person. And that's what's just, it's wild when you really start realizing that. And so, because, what was it? Because there was another thing. I mean, I see this all the time on TikTok. Oh, and what about, Matthew Perry's passing, which then, there's just so much going with that. Like, you've already got people, oh, he was on purpose. It was a ritual. It was, he's not really, he's hiding with the other one. Like, there's a spectrum. There was a whole bunch of gray going. But see, that's what we want. We want everybody talking, we shouldn't be making fun of anybody for their mind going and thinking and looking and trying to understand. Like, good on ya. We need to come up with a million different possibilities. That's the mystery solving. And then putting our heads together. But the thing that keeps getting me is all this love. Like, everybody's like, this was their best friend or something. It was like, and I bet you probably were the ones that were talking shit on the guy when he was looking all bloated and drugged out. And they were just, I mean, I don't even know. Did he ever even get to make his comeback? Or did he, end things after he got off of that hit show and got strung out on drugs and, got all bloated and made bad decisions and his friends felt sorry for him and all that stuff. So it just feels like it went from talking a lot of shit on the guy to all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, the best guy in the whole world just passed. And it's tragic when somebody's super young. I didn't even realize he was that young. And there is way more to the story. And there's way more to the story when you go into the soul level. And that's one of the things that was really getting me with DeBron. But then when I went and I saw him again later, there was two of these suspicious package things that had gone. And so there was a lot of that going on. There was just constant stuff. But when the wood got here, and I had to go out there and do that, I came back in and I couldn't find him. And so I was like, oh man, what happened about that? And so I don't think, because I think I went on there before I went to bed, was looking to see if I could find what was going on. And man, I can't remember if I found him because I was seeing other people. And I was like noticing like what's going on in other places and stuff. And I ran across a bunch of protests. Oh, that was one of them. It was a different guy live. And he was at a different part of LA. And he was at a protest. And I just came, like I was flipping through the live. So I didn't see when all this went down. But apparently all the people had just run. So the cops were there. In all these videos, I can't even tell you how many cops are down there everywhere. It is crazy. And to me, it's so fucking aggressive. Like, it's so aggressive to have all these cops here. It's not about protecting us. It's not. It's controlling, containing us, causing. It just is a whole psychological aspect to all this shit. So the guys. So this huge crowd runs, but nothing like what they're showing on TV. I mean, on these videos. And I don't know if they're showing those on the news or not, but these compilation ones where they keep trying to say like this is a massive thing and stuff. No, it was a big protest, but no, it is nothing like, I went to the Women's March in Seattle when it was that giant thing that was everywhere. And the crowd was massive. I mean, I think it was, I think it was way over a mile long. It was so fucking massive. I've been to one of those things before. And I don't know, just the whole time when I see the footage and how the people move and stuff, it looks like a CGI. It looks like there's like a repeat of different patterns. It's just weird. So, anyways, but this one was in LA, and it was definitely not anything like that. It was just a large protest. So they all come running down, and they're confronting these cops. So there's these cops in the alley, and they're being really confronting towards them. And while I'm talking, I've got this whole other thing going. So sometimes it's very distracting. So the cops are they're like not yelling, being kind of smug and arrogant to the people, and they're motorcycle cops, and so they've got their, I don't know, their tight pants on, and I don't know, just the whole thing. And this is one thing that I've really is sticking out to me right now, this voyeuristic thing that I'm going through. So the protest was happening, and the cops pushed some girl or something. They assaulted a girl. They pushed her or knocked her down or something. So all the people turn and run. And so they're all at the front. They're the head of the alley. And it was this big crowd and these two cops. And they are yelling at these cops and confronting them, coming at them and stuff. And, but mostly there's a definite space between. There's like a common space. Like, it's like in wartime. You can just see it. And so you got these, and I think they're starting to see they're outnumbered, but it's like they're just raising the numbers on the streets or something. And so so you could see this like tension, and then when they'd cross the line, you know, a little bit, and you could feel the pressure building. I could feel the pressure building. I was like, fuck, this is about to blow. There's about to be some shit with, I mean, there's going to be some places where those crowds don't stop and those cops go down. And then people, and depending on how it goes and where it goes and all that stuff, and, you know, about how it is handled, because it can be in the middle of all the chaos. But if they're still building up to it, it'll be all over the news. The poor cops were assaulted by these crazy people. They're probably trying to say they're a bunch of red hat wearers and shit. And because they are big hard on trying to turn people against that guy and all his supporters. It's like, dude, most of the people support him. Like, there's so many people who supported the other team, and now they are in support of the other guy. And it's just a natural crossover when you start seeing, like, when you start realizing what he's fighting, who he's fighting, what's really going on. But you just gotta look deeper, and then you can see more clearly. So So I was watching that one for a couple of minutes, and then I had seen a couple more. There was some more protests, but all of them also looked smaller like that. I saw one that looked really big, maybe in London. It looked like it was huge, and I don't know if it was, I can't remember for sure. But, and some of the chants and stuff were kind of different. I just saw one where a guy was, and this guy, he looked like a gang member or something, and he had like tattoos all on his face, and he was like, and he was, had the megaphone and the huge crowd and stuff, and they were all chanting, "Bring back Trump." So see, there's going to be these changes, but see, it's going to be in all these different groups. So but you got to think about it. It's like dominoes falling in the 100th monkey. It keeps going. It keeps spreading. And the thing is you just don't know how far in any direction anything's going to go, because it's going at its own pace. It's just like, you know, watching a fire break out in a forest and then trying to guess like which direction it's going to go, how long is it going to take, where's it going to get to. You know, it's just trying to guess, like trying to watch what's happening in the world and guessing about, well, it seems to be going that way, it seems to be going this way. But, you know, I mean, we're at a very volatile time. And this was crazy, because so when I woke up, you know, and I saw it had been 6 hours, and I was like, I'm going to go back to sleep still. I'm going to sleep longer. So I'm trying to get in my little fetal position, pull myself into a little ball and stuff. And it was like, oh, my shoulders hurt too bad. I can't. Or my hips hurt or whatever. I know it's my shoulders then, but it's always something. And so then, I'm like, fuck it. So I got my phone and started looking, and Duran just popped up first thing. I was like, hell yeah. So I was like, so I started watching, and so he's in LA, and it was 2:02 or 2:10 or something. It was like right after 2 in the morning. And so he was wheeling around out here, and I used to go out, and I was thinking I used to go out, like, I went out a lot in Hollywood. I'm trying to think of, like, the different areas. Like, there's a lot of different places you can go out around LA. You know, it's not just like one place. Like in Spokane, if you go out, it's just basically one area, and that's where all the bars are and stuff. There's a lot of places like that, but in LA, there's a lot of places with a lot of bar scenes. And so this one, I've never been to where he was, because I've never seen anything like this. And it looked like it would be super fun, but this like took me on a whole nother journey to myself of and the voyeurism and so that is, I was realizing all these different things. So he was going all through this part of town, and so it looks like, I mean, all the people were dark skinned. So, and they it's not like there's not bars where there's people where there's all different people, but like I've said before a million times, a lot of people who are of a certain group or a certain tribe or a certain color or whatever, that they like to stick together. They don't want the other people to invade their space. They've got their own thing going. They've got their own, it's their own energy, their own thing. And, you know, even if a lighter skinned person goes into one of those places, it like can set off the thing, like in Weird Science or any of these movies where they show like these people where you go in, and it's the same with dark churches. You go in and you stand out like a sore thumb, and everybody turns and looks at you like, what the hell are you doing here? And you know, and I don't know if that goes all the way back to where, you know, they tried to make people have separate water fountains, and these people just like, well, we'll make our own, you know, life. We'll make our own existence. We don't need y'all. I'm sure it goes way back to them being pushed into it. But, you know, that was the beautiful thing about humans is they come together and they'll make the best of it. And I was really noticing that when this Laurent Ledon, whatever his name is, the tour de LA, but his name is Daron Daron, and he has these people pull up, and they're like, Daron. People get so excited when they see him. There's a lot of people, and plus it's people around there, and these people who went up and saw him, and they're like, oh my God, we just live over there. We watch you all the time. Go by our house and stuff. So I'm sure he's got a big following of just where he's at, that people who are there can watch and see what's going on around their neighborhood. So, and there's it's a condensed place. But anyways, so he gets a lot of people who know him while he's going around, and he's always like surprised. And he's not the only one out there on these things. There's tons of people, but he also has this thing. But that also probably shows how it moves so weird when you're going, and he's good at it. Like, it's not clumsy at all. It's very flowy. So that's why it's so mesmerizing. But so when he was, to my brain, and so when he was down here, so he's in LA and the bars have closed, and there's cops everywhere. So many cops. And that was one thing I noticed too, because I was like, man, at the end of Spokane when the bars closed, like when I was in Hollywood and LA and stuff, I don't know, I guess all the cops were in this neighborhood. I don't really remember having that same intimidation. Like when you left the bars in Spokane and you went out, the cops would be double parked on all the roads. So you knew you had to drive past these motherfuckers to get out everywhere. And so it was very, you know, Uber makes a lot of money in Spokane. But also it's a lot closer and stuff. I mean, you can walk home in some places. And so anyways, in this one, so the people will come out of the street, and it was like a fucking party. I couldn't believe it. They didn't just go out onto the sidewalk and start like heading home. No, there's fucking grills out there. There's little trucks out there. There's fucking food all over the place. People are just out there. They're in the streets. It's like just a party. It's just the party just moved outdoors. And so then there's cops everywhere. And it was giving me so many thoughts. Like I was thinking about how the cops trying to intimidate them, about how these people just, you know, have fun and make the best of life and stuff. And then also about, you know, the seeing again how quickly that can turn. Like the cops are so outnumbered, so outnumbered. And you start trying to be aggressive or do something towards certain people, I don't think people are going to turn the other way. You're going to have, just like that, you're going to have people running towards you. Like a cop tries to manhandle somebody out here, you bet your ass, I bet you it would be a giant fucking thing. And you can just see this tension building. You can feel it building. And then watching this, and then going into other, you know, towns and stuff. And then some of the places, one of them I went across, and I think it was in Paris, but this has been going on in Paris for a while. They are having big standoffs with the cops and shit. And I don't know, maybe there was some in Canada too. It's French too. So, you know, I don't know. There's a lot going on. Like, and then Canada is pushing hard on their fucking bullshit, man. And I had just seen a thing where somebody was sharing all these footage of the Canadians coming together, and so I was crying. It was so beautiful, and it just reminds me of it's not the people. All we want to do is come together and have fun, just like all these guys out front of the bars, and all these girls wearing their little tiny clothes, walking around stumbling drunk, looking for a guy to get her home safely. And the food and oh my gosh, it was cool. It was like, man, I would really like to be there. I would really like to go and have that experience. That is an experience I've never had before. I'm always looking for those. And it's like, God, that would be so fucking cool. And I was having so many different thoughts through the whole thing. And I'm thinking, but, you know, would I go, like right now, how things are? And it's like to me, like there's hot spots. In California, it's like I have no desire to go there at all. It's like a fucking hot spot. Like, fuck. It's like ready to blow. Anything can happen at any time. And in Tehran, he's going around. And so he's sitting there saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. There's so much malarkey tonight. It's just, it is one call after another, after another. And he didn't make any mention over what happened on the suspicious packages earlier. And so I don't know if he took a break. I don't know if he went off. I don't know what happened about that whole thing. But so he's going through, and there's just huge just crowds of just party time out in the streets. And then tons and tons of cops. And then as he would go off on some of the side roads, you start seeing like tents and stuff where people were, and, you know, people in wheelchairs and stuff. But still, it wasn't like homeless, like there's homeless whole cities blowing up everywhere, you know, where there's just tons and tons of tents all in the same area. Wasn't like that. It was just real spread out. And then there was another call that came through of not a 7 to 9 inch wielding knife. And then he thought he heard gunshots, but then he watched for everybody else's reaction, and nobody did anything. So, and then as it went on, you know, no, there was not more. So it could have been, you know, a backfire, or it could have been, he thought maybe it was a fireworks or something, but he looked to see how everybody else was reacting. And that is something about the humans. And this is something, I was even saying something about this to the wood guy, but it is, because I was talking about the temperatures, because I was saying about, isn't it weird how it says like it's 40 degrees, and then you go outside, but it feels like it's like 20 degrees. So I did a little talk about that for a sec. And I said, you know, I think it is to make us not try, you know, to throw our senses off. It's always about throwing our senses off. We can't trust our thing. You know, we go out and we think, oh, well, it's 47 degrees. It should be, you know, I probably need just a sweater or something. And then you go outside and you need fucking hat and gloves. You need a goddamn face mask because your nose is frozen at the tip. And it's mental. Your fingers, you need them in pockets or gloves. Like, I'm going out full gear. And it doesn't make any sense. And so I said, I think it's something about that. I think everything is trying to make us not trust ourselves, not to be off on ourselves. And then I hear like Duran talking and stuff, and it was like, And I bet you there's tons of those blue lights there. And, it's a whole thing, man. God damn. So, so he was like, oh man, there's a lot of malarkey here tonight. Love it. So see, that's what I was saying. And then before I went, okay, so when he was waiting on the suspicious package, he was like, okay, there's a protest going on down the road. We'll head down there. And he goes, I think it's the tree huggers. And he starts going off on the tree huggers, making fun of these people. He goes, some of them don't even wear shoes. They all stink. They wear, what are those shoes called? The rubber shoes that all the people wear. I don't know. Gardeners wear them. Fuck, my son-in-law wears them. I think everybody at a certain age range wears them because they love them because they're real cushiony and soft and they're not like having much of a shoe on. And but Duran, is making fun of the people who wear those Crocs, and so he's making fun of those people. And he's like, some of them don't even wear shoes at all. They just want to go out and stand on the ground barefooted. They think that matters. So I'm like, okay, so this is, weird. And, but then he said, but you got to keep in mind, any of those people you see and they've got a full thing across there. He said, that's not the protesters, that's the Tifa. But he was saying the real word. And, he said, that's who that is. And so then I was like, okay, so he understands that. And then he would say something else and be like, okay, so he doesn't understand that. And then he'd say something else and be like, okay, but he understands that. So it's like this whole big, broad spectrum of understanding, which, gives me more confirmation on the awakening. It's just, there's so many levels. There's so many things. Some people can understand this, but not understand that. And they're on their own progress. They're on their own progression through this. Like, you can't rush a wave, and each person has a wave of their own. They're on their own ride, and you can't make it go faster. You can't make it go slower. It's on its own. And so, and that as a part of the whole, like, awakening part. And then, so when I was watching it, and I was, like, having this whole thing about, feeling like a voyeur at this point, where, I'm doomsdayer, the sky is falling, be prepared, it's going to go any minute. And then so the doomsdayer, what the fuck was I going to say? So I know I'm a doomsdayer. And, oh yeah, okay, so my perspective. Okay, so I was, so that's where I was like, would I even want to go out there? Yeah, I'd love to go have that experience, but would I want to go on an airplane, go in the airport, go fly there, go through that bullshit, then go down there in a hotbed of tension, especially when the cosmic cycle has already said that place is going under the water. It's like, there's so much more, like, that's been on the news or something now with this shit. So it is going way more mainstream about the doomsday map and what's about to happen and the cosmic cycle. Like, there's way more it's going to be. And so anyways, I can see the tension, the heat, it's like I can see what's to come. And then it's like, but you don't know when it's to come. But then you keep, for me, in my own position, it's like I keep myself cut off from it. Because there's this I saw this lady and she was all excited because she had gone on and she saw that somebody who she loved was going to be at this place. And the whole thing was just weird. She said that, when she went on, she looked, it was right there. She went, she got the deal. And I had this happen before when I was going to go, and it was to see this person. And it was weird. And so I know exactly what she is talking about. This, I think, is a band or something that she loved. And so then it was like everything was lining up right. And so she was going to go to Vegas this weekend, fly there to go see this band. It's like everybody's at all different levels. See, to some person, that's like exciting, and they're going to go do all that. And they're going to jump through all those hoops and stuff. But I already see all the hoops, and I see who's doing them. And I don't want to play their games. I don't want anything to do with their bullshit. I don't want to go play your games, go through your fucking long lines and sit on your things and put on these. No, fuck off with your shit. And it's just so much. And then are they just putting us in a ride and spinning us around? Are we even ever fucking going anywhere? Like, there is so much more weird shit. Like, where was it? They were saying you can walk from fucking Arizona to Egypt or something. That they used to be right next to each other, and they did an underground bridge tunnel thing or something. This shit is just going to get wilder and wilder because nothing goes together. It's realms and realities, and we've been living in different realities while we've been here. There's people have been over there battling, not galactic or cosmic, but it's one of those really long wars, like a galactic war, for centuries over there, and over here, we're having a different experience, a different reality. Over here's a different experience, a different reality. It's all different. But we want to make sense of it. And then the people who give us the tools to help us make sense of it are misleading us. So anyways, okay, so I'm watching the thing, feeling like voyeuristic or something. Like I've reached this, and now, like, I'm Rear Window. I'm just watching other people live their lives. I'm just gonna sit back and live in fear, and so I'm going through this whole process, and then it had come to that whole thing of that separation, that 3D part of myself, the part of myself, that would go do the flights and, would go jump through all their hoops and follow their rules and do their laws and pay their shit. I got a letter back from a lawyer yesterday. I didn't even read the whole thing. I was like, I'm not going to give this energy. I'm not going to get myself worked up or upset about it. I know that this is fucking bullshit. And I looked at the county again, Whatcom County. And then I also got, oh no, because that was another thing, another lawsuit. So now Capital One is lawsuing me through Whatcom County. That's where I was like, okay, Whatcom County, you're definitely showing your corruption because you're putting through things when things aren't. So I would imagine Whatcom County, there's some people who are going to be going down around, but Washington State's got to be full of them. That's why it's so progressive. It's full of people trying to take us in a certain direction, which is so crazy too. When I was saying that about this Soros, I'm talking about, and people think of him as being so powerful and stuff, and he's just one of the horse riders. He's not one of the power people. He's just one of the people that they use. But that is what we're dealing with. These people who have got so much power over us aren't even the people in power. So that's okay, so so while I was watching and I was getting this whole thing about the voyeurism and watching people living their lives and stuff like that, and then this separation, and that is when it was like, oh, so I'm in observer mode, and this is an observation, because it really is. It's like I'm watching a movie. It's so strange. This is the strangest perspective, because it's like watching a movie. But it's like watching, just like all those people watching Durango around their neighborhood. It's like watching a movie play out, but it's all the people who are like your neighbors and shit. So it's weird. It's just such a strange perspective. But then I can't go out and participate in things that I see through. I can't have conversations and pretend like, I have such hard conversations just with my kids and stuff. Like, they were all going out, and they go to the Flag Bar, and so they were all going out there, and it makes me nervous because I know that they like to strike those places, and and then to me it's like, God damn, Kelly, you'd be holding all these people back from living their lives. They are allowed to go out and live their lives. Just because you see something, they don't see it. They're not supposed to. It's not for you to keep pushing your perspective off on someone else. You got to allow them to go out and live their life and live their experience. And, if something goes down and is taken out in a mass, thing like that, then, it's out of my hands. It's out of my control. And I've got to constantly be telling myself, this is out of my hands. It's out of my control. This is out of my hands. It's out of my control. And then you gotta, whatever that makes you feel, you gotta learn how to calm yourself or relax, or use mantras, breathing, whatever it is that you can. That's your development of your own skills as you go through trying to calm yourself or get control of yourself, and noticing, like, I mean, there's a lot of things that you need to notice when you're getting tension built up in you, and stop it before it gets to the end, as you start noticing what happens inside of you, your reactions and stuff, so that you can catch them a little early, so you don't have the blow up. Because once you have the blow up, then you've got all these emotions, then you got all these hurt feelings, and you got so much more problems. The same thing too with like an alcoholic. I think that's the motivation that keeps them drinking. They like the diagnoses because it makes them powerless. But there's a whole suspicious thing to the whole thing with AA too. Like, I don't know. I've just heard some things and some breakdowns where I was like, oh my gosh, it's like every avenue that anybody could try and find to feel better, make themselves better, was always being controlled and manipulated. We were always being controlled and contained. We were always in the lab. And we just, it was an illusion that we had any kind of freedom at all. We were being very handled, all of us. And so, and if they find it where you're not manageable, they'll just take you out. Like, they don't care. They're playing a game. They're setting up their pieces. It's just like how I used to get those little rubber things and set the little Smurf village up for my kids. That's what we are. They're little Smurf village. Just set us around, set this up, cause an accident over here, cause this chaos. But so this morning when I was on there, I was looking. So I'm having this epiphany and all these realizations and stuff, and listening to him, not just cut off it's kind of like when you're in that lower chakra, you are reactive, and so drama is fun. It's a little charge, so drama and shit. But when he's going around and with that attitude and the stuff he's saying, it was like, oh my gosh, and the energy is changing. You're gonna get what you want. You want malarkey, you want this, you want that. You're about to get it. It's about to go down. You're gonna get what you want, son. And that's the thing. Is that people don't realize it's that they just don't give a shit. They're cut off. They don't care. And so that energy is going to, that's why this energy is going to come in to see, do you care? Do you care? And people are going to find out. It's going to be, and I don't know. I saw a thing on Trump. He's being really active. His people, like Scavino and stuff like that, they're all being real active over on these different platforms, get Tucker out there bringing attention to something, and they all work together. Like, everything is going together. This new speaker, it's all going together. I think Marjorie must be on there, and now it makes me think too with Matt, but I don't know, because there's still people who were playing parts to try and have a little bit more time, or to, get rid of some of their dark karma or whatever. Some people got themselves into some messes and try and clean up some of their messes before they go. Because I had said before a long while ago about redemption. Changing the energy makes a difference. You got to put things back in balance. So, some people had more of an opportunity to do that. But like I said, there were certain people who didn't get any opportunity. Hanks, HRC, Joe, the real Joe. Those people, there was people who didn't get. They're like, no, you don't get any more time. Bye. And especially with Hillary being gone so long, and she's still haunting the pages of the news. It's like mental. Anyways, while he was going, and there was a lot of things. Like, one of the things when he was driving around, because last night when I was watching, it was last night at 3, and so it was like this time yesterday. So it must have been after I finished recording. Yeah, I think it was after I finished recording, because I did a TikTok about it, because it was such a weird thing. Because I was watching, and he's going around, and then it was like later. I think it was like 3:30 or something in the morning. And he was going in places where it was just so creepy and dark, and he's zooming around and like there's no people, but it's a real industrial, like it was so creepy. And I was like, when I was watching it, I felt like I was seeing it from my perspective. So it was like, and this is how like these spheres and shit work. It messes with our perspective. That's how that's how they suck people in. I think the fucking filter faces and shit. Like there's this girl who uses this filter. So to me, she has always been so angry and so, and her face would always look like that, strained and angry and bitter and was pissed off. And then she has a real smugness, like, she's definitely a patriot that is like, you fucking stupid ass liberals that don't, but she's always like behind on the information that I know. So she's like way behind. So I know she's got far ways to catch up in her knowing and understanding on some of the stuff that she's trying to talk about. And so she's speaking on things that she's not fully understanding, but to her awareness and her understanding at this point, she understands. But that's what I'm saying. There's so much more to evolve. There's going to be very humbling for so many people. And so, but the weird thing is that her face would show this anger and strain. But now all of a sudden she started using this filter, this bold glamour filter. Has got everybody. And when I put it on, I can see why. Yeah, you look fucking good. And to me, it's like, go in and look at those and get it in your mind, and you can turn your face into that. But especially when you go into these med beds. But see, your face won't turn into anything, and it's going to show you what you need to heal. And like I can see, she's got anger, division, like she's got shit she needs to heal, but she's so caught up in all this government shit that she's not paying attention to what she needs to heal. And so her face is getting more strained, and she's getting more popular. And so then, she wants to put on a pretty face, so she starts using this filter all the time. So then she's all using the filter. Well, at first she was like yelling and screaming, and she had the filter on. And I was like, well, this is really kooky. And so I did a video about that, like about people putting on filters and it not matching their energy. And I, you put on a pretty face, but it doesn't show it's still an ugly disposition coming through. And so now with the videos I was seeing, because she was just like on one yesterday, doing one after another, but she's talking very gentle and sweet with this beautiful face on. But, maybe that's helping her to re-identify her persona or something. I'm just watching this transition, and it's just interesting to watch. And okay, so the guy downtown, was I finished talking about that? Does it seem like there was something else I was going to say about that? Oh, just how weird it was in that perspective. Oh, yeah, because he was going around, and it was giving me the perspective that it was me that was going around, because the way he's moving is like, I don't know, there's just something about it. And so it was making me feel like I was there, and it was me that was out in the thing. And so then I started feeling like I was so unsafe. And I started feeling like, oh my gosh, somebody's going to attack me. I'm going to get attacked. And it gave me anxiety, and I had to go off of it. So then I was like, that is so strange. What a strange kind of phenomena. Because, as a female, being out at night like that is so unsafe. Being out by yourself like that. Even on a little cart thing, like, fuck, a gang of, like, people see that, and it's like a coyote sees a rabbit out jumping in a field. Like a group of men, or one man, there's men who are out driving around at night just looking for that girl who's out walking by herself. Like in LA, there's probably 5 guys driving around looking for that girl. And then there's probably a few Uber drivers that are the same kind of way. So it's like, and those are the ones that are picking up the girls after the bars close. And so anyways, so the whole energy, but it was really making that stand out to me about, the woman's perspective, what a woman goes through, and a woman at night and stuff like that, and what a man goes through. And then I was and then it was making me think about how weird it is for our minds and how they know how to work our minds, and how weird it is to watch something like that, and how you could put yourself in that place and feel the experience of what it would feel like. But it wasn't like I wasn't having the same experience as him, because I was feeling danger, danger. And I just thought, that is such a trippy phenomena. So, I bet, that again, or just confirms to me just so much with the mind control, how palatable our minds are. And just like with him, when something went down, he was like, what's everybody else doing? What's everybody else think? Like, we're looking for confirmation. And that is the drive that gets us to the dysfunction of trying to people please and be what other people want you to be, and to hide parts of yourself because you feel that you're going to be shamed or not accepted. So you got to hide parts of yourself. So that, and it's crazy too, is when you are the one who's hiding parts of yourself, you're the one who's judging that. You're judging yourself and hiding parts of yourself that you feel aren't acceptable. You're not even giving other people a chance, because everybody has these parts. Everybody has parts. So people will accept your broken parts. Like, people are so much more accepting, I think, of me sharing my broken parts, not trying to hide them, not trying to put on a front, not trying to be like I'm better than other people. Just being like, yeah, I'm just broken as everybody else. I'm not trying to hide it. I think it's toxic to try and hide it. I think that we need to be more accepting and to understand we're here learning and growing. Like, why would we be so judgy on each other? And it just, it just so much trips me out as my experience, how it's so different than so many other people's. And, and nobody will understand that unless they're having a completely different experience with the majority of people. Then you will understand what I mean. It's so weird. It's like the things that they see, the things that they think about, with how they're affected and stuff. That there really is such a transition as you awaken, and there really is such a part of yourself that does become a voyeur, does become a watcher, does become an observer, where you're watching things play out. Because how can you go out and jump into a fire if you're watching how the people handle the fire? So it is, and there's a whole part of, like, in our human psyche too, where it's like, we want to be the savior. We want to have other people think that we're so great or something. Like, this is something I keep seeing and seeing, and I just saw it really, really clear. Let me see if I can see it more, because I was like, oh my gosh, that is so true. Sometimes when they'll show me like certain perspectives or certain behaviors or something, it's just like, oh my gosh. But it is something about, where it's just in all these different levels where people think that they need to go save somebody else. That is like, you've got something in you, like the savior complex or something. But it is so disrespectful to the other people to think that they can't save themselves, to not look at them as just as valuable as you, that they can come up with their own solutions. And I know, like, right now, a lot of people feel so defeated and beat down, and they're all out there screaming and begging for someone to come in and save them, and that's a part of their development. That's a part of their, and some of it is going to be, some people will save themselves, and then they'll see, like, God, I didn't need anybody to save me. Why did I even ask? It's going to be a process. And there'll be people, it will be in every gradation, every possibility will happen. We can sit here and go down and try and go through and look at every single window of the honeycomb. Oh, what's happening in that one? What's happening in that one? But it's going to be all things. So everything is going to be happening. All these things, all this breakdown of our society, the breakdown of this reality, the breakdown of each person's mental status, because it has to break down. You have to reevaluate yourself. You're built with plastic. Like, seriously, it's so crazy, because I just saw this thing, and it was on Sky News, and they were talking about confirmation. they were talking about the solar panels and the turbines, and they're all made with stuff that is those products that you can't, there's nothing you can do. You can't melt them, you can't do anything. And so, and that's what they want to take us on with this journey on the electric cars still. And you know, and I know it has so much to do with just all their car parts, their tires, their appliances, all the stuff is just take the cheap shit and make us stuff, but then it all breaks, but there's nothing to do with what's broken. That's why, you know, we got so much garbage and stuff. It's just such a consumer plastic world, and the plastics, these plastics, you can't do anything with them. And so now they've got all of these tons and tons and tons of solar panels, like 300,000 or 30,000 or something, a huge amount of solar panels that they have to dispose of. And there's not a safe place to do it. There are all these broken turbines. There's nothing they can do. And like it's just, there's a mess. All their fucking shit that they have done, all they've done is create more and more mess. And all of these plastics and shit that they've got us, just all of their stuff. Like, fuck, the bread maker came in 3 fucking boxes with all sorts of packing and shit. It's such nonsense. And it's these people who make the money off the packing. They tell us, like, we have to have all this shit. I just saw this lady, and she was freaking out. And this is going to be more and more people. Because this is, you know, this is shit I have been saying. And so she was just reading something. And she couldn't sleep. She's just distraught. She's all so upset. She's got a horrible headache now. Because she realized that the power that China has here, and that they are in charge of all of our resources and stuff. And, you know, it's all done on purpose. But what do I say? That's what they are showing. That's what they have done everywhere. They outsource. They get you to be dependent on someone else for your resources. Because back when I was a kid, it was we were way more independent. We had miners, car manufacturers, like we were an industry in America. Like the corporation was going, but then whatever, you know, I mean, it was not ever going to keep going. You know, it was a time period. It was just an experience. It was a dream. It was over. And so it was just a little clip, a little snippet. And so, you know, it's not meant to go further. It's not meant to of anything. It was just a snippet in time for experience. And, but there was the period of time where we had resources and we were living different. And then they started doing all of that to make us dependent on other people and make other people in charge of things where they could drive up price. Like, it's just crazy. And it's crazy how much, all of our stuff all comes from China, not just here in America, but everywhere, you know. And who knows why. I know that when they were getting all the gold, that it was a shit ton went from the Vatican. There was so much. I think way more came from the Chinese emperors. Like they had, there was tunnels. It had underground like tunnels that were rooms and rooms just full of gold bars. There was gold just stacked everywhere. And they went and cleared all that out. That was the same thing in the Vatican too. Like these people literally hoard the money and let people starve to death. Let people die of injuries and accidents and death and old age. All of it. None of it is real. None of it was necessary. And they do it all on purpose. It's just this reality. And we come in, we get born here to go through this experience. And you can see why it's so traumatic. All these different experiences you can have in these different realms. But and the different realities and shit. But the big thing is this transition. Because what was before isn't where we're going. And how we're getting there is a jump to leave from there. It is like a quantum jump. There is a quantum jump. There's a quantum leap. There's a big thing. And that is what Trump had said on the thing. He said, the lights come on October 31st. It's done. We're done with this. Lights come on. So, and that's today, I think. I'm pretty sure, but maybe tomorrow's Halloween. I don't know. But it's supposedly, like, there's all these people who are saying, there's going to be the dark Monday, that where everything's going to start going, the Wall Street and shit like that. I know people who I know who've been going out and stuff, like everybody's using their cards. It wasn't people, so the cards were being able to be used. And that could also, though, that could be white hat shit, where they are trying to control the chaos. So the one people want to, have it crash in one way, and the other people are trying to buffer the crash in another way, because there's two opposing forces at play. And so, it's hard to know for sure how shit's going to go down. But supposedly, there's going to be all this Wall Street drama this week, and that's going to lead to the housing, but the housing market thing has been so unstable. Like, they've been talking about this for weeks, about Airbnbs and the shady fucking loans they set up, and how all of these Airbnbs are about to go down, and that's going to crash the market. All of the different things, and they can talk about it however they want, but all the different things were developed in a shady way. This whole system was only going because we were keeping it going. They were profiting. They didn't even have to do fucking much, and they were just taking from us. But we were willing to settle for nothing. And that is one thing too. When I was seeing all these cops out on these roads and stuff, and trying to push people and stuff like that, and people just want to go out and dance and have fun and eat together and talk, and I bet you there will be communities that would be like that. More of a nightlife kind of community, because, all the people are out there just having a good time. And I know in some parts of Europe, like I think in Spain, there's different places that they're up, they stay up all night and party, and then they sleep during the daytime. And, people don't get out and get going until like 10, I think, in Spain. And then people are up until like 4 or 5. You go by restaurants and they're full. Everybody's sitting out there. So it's all different in different places. And that may not be in all of Spain either. It can be just maybe a touristy place. I don't know. But I just know that there's other places that have a strong nightlife like that. And maybe it was Portugal that we were at. I'm trying to picture. I swear to God, it was in Barcelona. It was the bike tour lady who was even telling us that yeah, here we stay up all night and sleep all day. People don't get up till like 10. And it's just different lifestyles, it's different realities. But that's what it's going to, break down to everywhere, where we're going to be able to develop into our own. It's not going to be this structured way of living. It's going to be way more formatted to the group of people who are involved. And so your tribe, it's what pulls in the magnetic force that pulls the communities together. And it's pulled in by vibration, by resonance. So you'd be pulled in towards people who are in alignment with you to start your thing. I saw one girl, and she said that she was getting a download that right now there's a huge group of people who are being triggered or awakened to their role in the agriculture, and that they're supposed to be gathering seeds and stuff, and that they will be remembering. And some people are making big gardens, some people are making small gardens, and that's what I had said before too. And so like where people are also doomsday and stuff. No, people are being woke up to their roles. It's about to be a big shift. It's going to go the other direction, just like what Trump said. The lights will come on, and there's going to be a shift, but there's going to be a lot of people when the lights come on are going to be standing there and realize that they're standing there naked in front of a whole crowd of people, and they're going to feel so much humility. And that's where they're going to want to just crawl, and hide. There's going to be so much of feeling so exposed, and people are so driven to hide behind every mask that they can, to hide themselves, and to not. And even to a woman who is seeing her face and not liking it, being angry and stuff like that. But that's why your face is showing your anger. You go in and you start working on your anger, your face is going to go soft. It's not going to be angry and rigid, but you got that's why I'm starting to say your physicality is representing something that you need to work on, but people don't understand. And so it is, people got to go deeper, 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 but people are so surface, so plastic, so artificial. And this big switch has to happen because, where we were headed, it was like there's no place to go. It's like they've got all this artificial shit. There's no place to put it. There's nowhere for it. And so it is, this energy is, it's like a crash. It's like it's crashing. There's no place for it to go anymore. And, this huge transition, but everybody's got to use this transitional period to develop themselves, to heal themselves, for whatever. I mean, I can't sit there and say everybody, because not everybody is for the next role. Not everybody's for the next, like I said, not everybody's here to go through to get there. Some people are going to leave, go back to where they are and just get the new viewfinder and come that way. And that's how the living and the dead would walk together. And because so it's like all of us going through it, trudging through all of this trauma and stuff, because in all these different situations, there's going to be different things that happen, but there'll be heroes, there'll be, some of this bad stuff that's going to go down is going to create heroes. And so those, the people who is not just make statues of, because that was the whole thing. When they started making the statues, it was kind of to slap the people in the face, because they went in and took these people's lands, and then they started putting statues up and told them who they needed to, who was important. And, it's all, this whole thing has always been about taking the land. I mean, it's just as mind-blowing when you think about this whole America thing only started a while ago, and that all of this was all inhabited by different people and different tribes, and they just went in and killed the people, took their lands, killed kings and queens, and then made the people think that they were small and little, and then separated them, took away their resources. And this wasn't even that long ago, but that's why it's taken them down. That's why it's going to take them out. That's what their house is built on, is corruption, and it's just, there's nowhere to go. So, but all the people played the parts to keep this world what it was. Like, this wasn't, just because the Illuminati are bad. No, everybody's up there lining up to sell their soul. Everybody's up there. I mean, there's tons of people sitting around judging these people, but all they want to do is get $1 million to themselves. And one thing too is, when I was watching these people walking and stuff, and just out drunk at night, and just the way they're acting and the way that their attitude, you can just feel too, and I was like, fuck, this is not going to be, they're not going to just put $1 million in these people's accounts. They haven't grown, they haven't suffered, they haven't gone through it. The money is way too important to them. And, and maybe that will be a part of it. Maybe I don't know. I mean, I can't for sure say. Maybe some people, they'll get their money and they'll blow it all. I don't know. But to me, how it looks is that these people have to go through some bad crises, and so that they change their priorities, and so that they realize, because I swear to God, you watch these people out. I mean, and you put a bunch of money in their accounts, they're just going to go out and party, go out and drink, go out and do drugs, go out and buy more skimpy clothes. And it's just, it's a direction. People are going in such a wrong direction. So it'd be like, your drug addict son shows up and you clean out your pocketbook and give him all your money. It's like, that wouldn't make very much sense. So we gotta, I don't know, to me, it just seems like the logical thing is going to be all of the places where you just see so much selfishness, so much self-centeredness, so much like the attitude, I just want to have fun, I don't give a fuck about anybody, then there's going to be shit that's going to go down there. It's not going to just be like they get to keep that attitude and then all of a sudden it just switches and there's $1 million in their accounts and then they got to just go. And this is a switch in the energy. This is the people who have been doing things that weren't living by their soul. They're going to feel the impact of that. They're going to feel embarrassed and humiliated. That's what I think when the lights come on. And that is, I thought was interesting how he even said that the lights come on Halloween is because I've been saying that the whole time. That's how I've said it. I've said it's like the lights are going to come on and then all of a sudden people are going to see. It's like you're in the bar, at 2, and then if you're there at the end when they turn the lights on, and all the people look very different. Everything looks very different when the lights come on. There's like a more of a magic when the lights are off, where it's, got cool lights, got cool lighting, and then the lights come on. It's like, oh, this place is dank, man. It stinks. It's gross. It's like, oh, I got to get out of here. So anyways, but that's what it's going to be like for all these people. When the lights come on, it's going to be embarrassed and humiliated because they are making choices, just like these women who are out there talking smack on Trump. And to me, it just shows like their own judgment and biases and ignorance is just so on full display for the whole world. And so there's going to be so much humility. And then plus the way they're going to bring him in is such a, like, almost like a martyr. Like, look at the beat down this guy has taken. It's true. It is true. And it has been a beat down. And, and the people who were throwing stones are going to feel, the humiliation, just like that fireman. Like, following orders, letting people die like that. And you know what? Just think about other orders and shit. Like, what is said in these back rooms? And I'm sure in places where they give business licenses, places where this goes on and that goes on. Like, there's been, when these certain groups of people have been saying that they're treated bad and treated different and stuff like that, it's not like by each of us individually, but it is by these people who follow orders. It's by the people who just follow orders, and the corporation is in charge, and the corporation does not want the natural people to feel good about themselves. They want the natural people to be down, be down, and they want to create criminals and shit out of them. They want to make them, lose their minds. And it's, it's unfair. It's sad to take these, it's like taking royalty and then telling them that they are the peasants. And so, but, they can't, because it's like these beings that hold the power going up against the natural beings, going up against God, going up against nature. And all their manipulation and stuff has worked for so long, but now, people are waking up. It's not working anymore. And then you see those huge crowds down there, and the cops try and pull their same shit and try and intimidate and tell these people go home or tell these people to do anything. I think shit is, the tables are going to turn. There's going to be places where cops are trying to do something, manhandle people, tell people this or that, and it's going to be like, no, people are going to go take cops down. I bet there's going to be some severe beatings, and there'll probably be some deaths that will occur from all of this. And it'll be in different places. That could have happened last night in Philly for all I know. It's not like they're going to come on and tell us. The only thing that they're going to put on the news is going to be stuff that they try and control the fear. And the only time I ever even see any news clips is on TikTok. But I went on the live. I was going on the live, and it was still, it was so overwhelming. Oh, my God. It was just like, you just have all these people. Like, there's so much intenseness of the people in the videos and stuff that it's like you're going, it's just like these people are screaming at you, or you just get these people who are just sitting there just staring, or you get people who are just like are making these clicking sounds, just making sounds for there's ones where it's weird. It's like, I don't know, maybe some of these ladies are just so ignorant on fetishes or something, because you definitely get the ones who know exactly what it is and are, you know, eating a giant sausage slowly, dripping and stuff. Like, get those videos or those lives too. And but when people will sit there and be feeding their kids, it's like, what is wrong? What? But, you know, I was like, maybe it's just an impulse of that role that they're playing, to show, like, the just what ignorance can do, you know? I mean, you're sitting there, like, it just is, it's so gross. It's so gross how they'll put that on. And this one woman, this one just really stood out to me, because she was standing there and, like, she ate something, then she put it over for her baby, and it was like, the whole thing. I was like, this is warped. Like, do you guys not understand what the people who enjoy these videos? Like, you think just regular folk? You think we're the ones wanting to watch food dripping out of your mouth and shit? Like, if you're doing that weird shit, you've got a certain audience. Like, ugh. And you probably have a lot of followers. But, you know, I mean, gross. I don't know. There's just so much. There's so much darkness that has to come out. There's so much darkness in all these different people. But yesterday, so I got a letter from this lawyer's office, and I started to look at it to see, like, well, what are they talking about? And then I saw that they were a lawyer for the home loan place. And they start saying, you said this is crimes against humanity. You said your thing is paid off. And they're trying to go through these long explanations. And I just I just put it over in the stack of all the papers. Because to me, these are all crimes. You know, these are all crimes that they're doing to us. And so, and I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't know if when we go to redemption centers, if we can go and take all these crimes and say, hey, what about this? What about this? What about the brain injury? You can pay me back on this shit, on all the corruption. So, you know, I don't know. We'll see how it all goes and plays out. But to me, it is like the exposing Whatcom County. To me, the people who are working in the home loans and stuff, I don't even know if very many lawyers even know what's going on. Like, I think there's the majority of our population does not know what's going on. They have no idea. And even if they know, like, the government's corrupt, even if they know, like, you can't trust the medical, even if they know blah, 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 like, they're not going to see what's coming. And I mean, just when you go in and you just hear people talking about the money stuff and stuff. But I'm glad that I'm seeing so many more talking about NESARA, GESARA, and get excited, everybody, this is going to be great and stuff. But then there's also that part where you see these other people who are just so, yeah, just give me more money, and that's all that they would care about. So, you know, this is a different attitude. This is like the energy behind what's coming isn't that. It isn't just like, here, you're all insatiable, you just want money, so we're going to give you a lot and make the best of it. No, this is a totally different energy. This is an energy of appreciation, of depth, not of this shallowness and stuff. So there's going to be more shit. I think a lot of shit's going to happen this week. A lot. And I don't know what all stuff has happened. All the videos that I was seeing, there kept being cops and sirens and stabbings and this and fights and all sorts of stuff going on. But, you know, I wasn't seeing any big explosions. But I was thinking that could also have been the white hats that were putting things around to get attention like that. Like, maybe all those carts that are all locked up are really, you know, full of something else in it, but they know that there's enough suspicion, enough people who are suspicious that are going around, and then they can go and watch social media, and then they can watch in the comments and see, like, how people think and stuff. There's so much going on in the skies. It's so trippy. The cool ass footage that people are getting in the skies, And so many people are just so confused and so scared. So scared. And so, yeah, there's a lot of shit that's got to transform here real quick. And, but I 100%, I don't, with the people who work at these places, like, I think that they really don't know what's going on at all. And so, but they're going to all of a sudden get hit with their own stuff at home. So even people who are working in credit cards, collections, homes, and stuff like that, all these different loan agencies for the cabal, and they are going to start having their own problems in their own homes. You know, because it's an energetic thing. And they're going to get hit hard by things. So it's going to take their focus to themselves, not to what we're doing and what we're not paying and stuff. It's going to get focused on themselves. Like, I bet this weekend there's a lot of shit going on in people's lives. Just like that lady whose car got stolen. She still can't get to her money. She still can't get to her car. And she thinks that Monday is going to make a difference. Now, I'm curious to see what is going to happen on Monday. If there's going to be people, and so I'm glad to have her as a barometer too, but still, that's one bank in one state, and it's going to be all in all different things, because they're trying to, it's like one group is trying to do it in one way and another group is trying to like buffer it, I think. So and then trying to get our attention, trying to get us to wake up, trying to get us to see what's going on. And so, yeah, they could have put all those carts around. They could be having all these unidentified objects, scares everywhere, to try and get us to realize, like, shit is going on. People, wake up. You just walk around and go, where's the next bar? Like, let's get to the next party. It's like, ugh. So, anyways, whatever's got to go down. I thought there would be a lot more violence this weekend. I thought there would be like bars getting blown up and shit. Like, so I don't know. Maybe that is the White Hats buffering some of this stuff and taking us more gently into this. But that is, because they know that shit's going to blow up once people know the truth. And so trying to have a more gentle lead into the trauma. But there's the whole thing, bigger stuff with Joe being impeached and stuff. So there'll be more stuff about that coming out. Then more stuff with who's all connected in all these crimes and shit. More stuff with that. So it's just going to keep going and rolling and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I don't know what it means, like the lights are coming on. Because he has made a whole thing about that there's going to be people who are going to come out this week that are going to say he's the real guy. And there will be no denying it. There's not going to be like this same thing. Well, Congress said, well, Pence said, well, this guy, well, that guy. I was all exposing these people to their crimes. And it's all these people are being exposed. And there's tons and tons. Even he said that. It's like, look, you think you're exposing this group and 10 more come out. And so we're just full of, everywhere that they go and they open up a crevice, there's way more roaches in it than they thought. But, there's tons of people who are willing to do whatever it takes to get it, get that money, get whatever it is. They're driven by something else. So, those are the parts of society that got to heal, though. That's the parts of us that we have to look at and heal. But if you're going around putting on a fake persona all the time, then how do you even know your real self? You gotta get down to the nitty gritty of your own real self. You gotta be true to yourself, be real to yourself. And in that whole process, you gotta get comfortable with yourself, because you gotta be willing to be vulnerable, just like this. Be willing to just go out there and put yourself out there and not worry about if somebody's judging you. You gotta really get it in your mind. If somebody's judging you, they're judgmental. They've got the problem. Doesn't mean you've got the problem, even if you've got problems. It's the person who's standing over there acting like they don't have any problems and you're some sort of weirdo, because you do. They're hiding themselves. They're trying to hide because it's the only way that they can feel safe. And then if they can point out what's wrong with everybody else, then they think that, that makes them better or something. Everybody's got their own issues. It's so crazy. It's like you cannot, even any of the stuff I talk about or anything, everybody is going to absorb it in different ways. Like, when people keep thinking like they've got to try and, be this certain way to please these certain people, just like the boobs, just like the boob job thing, which is so crazy. Even with the girls are still would be the ones who are like, when I be like, oh, I don't like them, I wish I wouldn't have got them, I think they're uncomfortable and stuff. And oh, they're so good, they look so good, you do clean, all that stuff. It's always girls that are just so into them, and all the girls want them and stuff. And I'm always like, no, I'm telling you, they suck. And then so you have all the girls though that want these like perfect boobs, but that's what they are always marketing to us, like we have to have these perfect boobs. And but it's uncomfortable. And then but when you go around a guy, because what are you getting them for? You're getting them because you want to feel better. Like, I felt like, well, the doctor even said I had some sort of deformity or something, like I didn't have enough tissue or something. And so then it goes and puts them in there, and then puts way bigger than what I wanted and stuff. And then, well, that's what fits your body. And then when you go around all these different guys and stuff, because this is when I was becoming single and get a date, wanted to, and I was older, and so I think I was in my 40s. And trying to be attractive or whatever, so get these stupid ass boobs. But then you go around guys, it's completely different. Some could care less, some are just like, oh, you should have got them bigger. Some, why'd you do that? That's so stupid. You cannot, it is impossible to please everybody. Everybody has a different opinion. And you're going around trying to please anybody, trying to, make that one perfect thing that's going to be to please everybody. It's impossible. Everybody has different perspectives. Everybody has different things that they like. There could be somebody who thinks, oh, because I'll have people who will tell me I'm pretty. And it's so funny too, because, that has been a part of my journey of the whole thing of, looks don't matter, stop about looks. But then people will come in and say, you're so pretty. And I'm always like, thanks, but I'm not going to turn around and, be like, looks don't matter. That is so, and give somebody a lecture when they're trying to be nice to somebody. You got to be receiving. You can't sit here and put your own values on somebody else. And so it is more receiving. They're trying to pass on kindness. They're trying to be nice. And so it's receiving. But there can be just as many people who find you unattractive who find you attractive. This stuff just doesn't matter. We just get so caught up, even when you're putting your real self out there. Don't be expecting, just because you're real, just because you're authentic. I'm fucking weird as fuck to so many people. I don't care. I can't go and please them. They've got their own, they've got their own vibe. It's not for me to worry about. You can't get caught up in thinking that you have to be this, there's this perfect model of you or something. No, what you got to do is just come into acceptance of your broken parts and just be like, yeah, that's cool. You accept yourself. And then you can always grow. You can always gain. You can always change. I wanted to say this because this was another, this is so wild how this shit keeps coming to me. So, but the one girl who I've been talking about lately is one of the people who, she had the dramatic breakup with her husband. It was like, break up, get back together, break up, get back together, and just all this talking and all this stuff all on social media. And then, now they're in the breakup phase, and she's in this, so many of these girls are healing from these narcissistic relationships, these narcissistic abusers, these narcissists. It's like, girls, you will change everything if you realize that you are playing a part, that you also are a monster to the narcissist to them. You're the borderline crazy psycho bitch to the guy. It's like, it's the parts they have to play out. So, but these girls are just all caught up in the victim. This is a huge movement. It's a huge purge that's going on. And as the observer of seeing it, it's a big thing of a lot of women. And it's it's like a river opened up. And so she was, whatever, now she does all these videos, of trying to heal and stuff, I guess. But it's a different attitude. It's different because there's two different ways of healing. There's the way I talk about and through empowerment, and there's the other way of being the victim and cutting everything out of your life, which I have heard some fucking big ass spiritual accounts go in that direction. That is not, it's like, well, everybody's at their own pace, everybody's at their own speed. But that is not how I see your most healed way to be. Is you set boundaries, but you don't just become the boy in the bubble emotionally. But that is a part of the process. A lot of people, it's just like they got to just cut ties with people to realize themselves. Just like what I was saying with my youngest daughter. It's like she has to cut me out of her life so that she can get my voice out of her head, because I'm a monster in her head. And she's holding on to this monster that, and I was very driven. I can see why a kid would feel judged by me. I mean, if I'm honest with myself, I was self-centered, driven, and workaholic. So, anyways, so the girl who, I had said something, it was, I think it was about the food thing, because it's like, oh my God, people are, I don't remember what it was. Just the things that I see with people, and I'm trying to talk sense or something. It's just so weird, but it was something I had said, and so she came in and she said a comment on my thing, and she said that, well, I would do something. I don't remember what the video was about. It's always about leave the system, take care of yourself, take care of your health, let go diagnosis, like the same shit I talk about. And so it was something like that, but she was like, well, except for, oh, maybe it was, I was saying you're a hologram and you don't really need food. Maybe it was that. It was something like that. And so she said, well, that she has to, because she's anemic, so she has to have food or something like that. And so then it was this whole other conversation, because I was like, well, I don't think we have the same philosophy. And I was talking much deeper than just this one thing, but I was like, well, that's a good opportunity for me just to say, because there's like a lot of things that she does, and it's like, dude, ugh, it's just weird, because I'll just see people and, they all think they're doing the right things, and I just see it so different. And so, whatever, she just was using her diagnoses as a way to hold herself back, as an excuse. That's what people do all the time. They use their diagnoses to hold themselves back. It's a label. It's like, like I could have gotten it all on my brain injury. Well, I've got a brain injury, and making an excuse for every fucking thing I ever did. Well, I got a brain injury. Well, I got a brain injury. Well, I can just do whatever the fuck I want because I got a brain injury. I can walk over and kick this person just because I feel, well, I got a brain injury. I mean, there's people that go in that direction. They just, their label, their diagnoses is an excuse. It's just like, well, I don't have to do anything. Well, I've got diabetes. Well, I've got this. Well, I've got that. And it's, and to me, yeah, I've got a different attitude, a different philosophy about that. And so whatever in this conversation, and I said, that I had a different philosophy, and I said, I've healed the stuff. And it was this whole conversation. And so it was definitely where I was getting to make a point, but it was like the point came to me. I didn't have to go into this person's thing and say anything. It came to me. And then it was like the whole thing opened up. It was like the universe wanted these things to be said, and they opened it up, and I accommodated, and I said what I was meant to say. And then, the portal closed. And, I'm sure she's thought some of the stuff about what I said. I was like, well, I'm way more about heal myself. Heal myself from Hep C, colitis, to me, I've healed myself from a brain injury. I'm healing my blindness, like all these different things. I've healed my scoliosis, like all of the different things. It's about healing yourself is, and then plus, I'm very much on this whole thing about that we're not flesh and blood. We are, it's like we're a hologram. And to me, getting comfortable with that, because then it is like in that Doctor Strange where you can control your reality so much more. Same in Real Guy. When he woke up, then it was all of a sudden, he could be like the sunglass people. And that is how I see myself, as like the sunglass people, as the superhero, as somebody who understands their powers and stuff, and doesn't feel limited and powerless, and give me a diagnosis, give me an excuse, and then that takes away my power. To me, it gives you the focus. It gives you where to drive. Now you know your destination. You got to fix this. You got to heal this. You got to change that. You got to work on this, work on that. So anyways, but I do have a very different philosophy in life, and it just becomes more and more apparent to me when I go and I listen to people, and then I have conversations and their attitude and what they look at and how they see. And I know I'm supposed to be sharing it. I know that, and I know does make a difference. I know how the 100th monkey, I know, like, just saying a word and then you hear it being said like it's crazy. I know all of this stuff really works, and I know it, it matters. And it matters how you direct your attention and your energy. And so anyways, but we've got all this shit is going to go down. I swear, I think shit is going to go down this week. And I'm not going to fucking stress out about these motherfuckers who are going to keep coming at me telling me they're just going to take my house. Today or yesterday, I think I got 4 more things in the mail from them. It's just a nonstop assault on me with now they're sending me something from Whatcom County that Capital One's going to sue me. The houses that are putting my house up for auction, lawyers sending me this letter telling me that I don't have rights or something. But I know it's all a part of the show. It's not in it. If I misjudge it and I'm wrong, well, then that's a part of my lessons. And just go with that, go to the next journey, to the next thing. I'm not going to stress out about it. None of it. But I have to, you have an automatic response. Like, I still have to talk myself down. I still, like, you see the letter and it's just like, I want to read it, and then I want to react, then I want to fucking call them, then I want to tell them, I want to laugh at them, I want to, all that stuff. And it's like, no, you just got to reel it in. Are you going to give them your power? Are you going to give them your energy? This isn't bullshit. To me, it's so much about getting into that thing, like in Weird Science, where the same thing with the sunglass people. The whole thing is just like realizing that you're in a lucid dream. You start getting control. Just like in Weird Science, when they were so scared and intimidated by the guys coming in on the motorcycles, riding through the house, hitting into things and acting all tough. And then as soon as the guys stood up to them, as soon as they stopped being like all scared and cowering, hiding in a closet, as soon as they stood up to him, it turned the tables. It switched it. And that's what I think. That's why I think so much of this stuff is happening. And to learn, where do you give your energy? They want to sit here and threaten me. Well, am I going to give that energy? Am I going to give them what they want? Am I going to give them anything? No, I'm pulling my energy back to me. I'm pulling free. And if that means that I have to lose the illusion of what I've built in this existence, then so be it. Because I know that some way better is coming. So, and it's not anything against this house. I love this house. I just know that there's more to come. That we can't sit here and just be hung up on this is all we got. We're going to hold on to it. We're going to lose everything and stuff. It's like this whole world is shifting. Everything is going. And I'm going to stand up for myself. And I'm not going to get all caught up in the drama and start arguing with these lawyers or the housing place or any of that stuff. I'm just going to let things roll out and play out and see how it goes. And I mean, if they're going to auction the house in March, we got quite a few months to go through to get to that point, which I'm going to probably buy one of those hats from Blade. It's like, I have to go in and watch him make those hats again. He doesn't have very many videos of making them, but god damn, they're cool. He makes it from, like, he takes the the wool or the felt or whatever the hell this stuff is, leather, and does the whole thing from the start. And I just really want one of these top hats. I've always really loved top hats. And then these ones are so cool too. So anyways, I really want to get one of those. So that's what one of my house payments will go to. And I'm definitely not going to get one of those puppies, especially because I was like, no, I very much do not want a lab. All these different ones that I keep hearing about, it's like, oh, that's not a disposition I want. That's not a personality I want. And the whole thing was with the French Bulldog thing was because they're super sturdy and they are not easily, they don't get upset about stuff. So I don't, Stella's not rough. I mean, she can play with that little 5-pound tiny little, whatever the hell those things are, the little tiny terrier thing at my mom's house, and she's so gentle. I mean, it's not like she would hurt it. But so many of those dogs that are small are scared, even though, you know, I could raise a kitten with her, but I don't want the cat smell. And they would become the best of friends. So I could get a tiny, tiny dog. But when I start thinking about, oh, small dogs, because I like big dogs, what small dog would I want that's not just rah, 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 and jumping, all that stuff. And French Bulldogs just have a different kind of attitude. And anyways, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm going to get or anything. I just feel like she needs a friend. And then I'll keep getting these videos where I keep seeing these other people just have one dog. But, oh no, is their dog just sitting and whining and crying at them? Because she did lose a partner. She did have a partner and they died. And so, you know, her whining and crying and being mad at me that I'm not giving her all my attention all the time. So it just seems like it's like the time, you know, she's also ascending. She's also telling me what she needs. She's also communicating, and I have to give her respect. And it's like, okay, I see what you're saying. Yes, you do need a companion. I mean, she drags me out for a walk and stands and stares at the neighbors, just stands and stares at their gate, waiting for the dogs to come out of the fucking doggy door. And it's such shitty weather that they're not coming out. They are happy. They've got their whole clan inside their house, and they're all sleeping in there. And poor old lonely Stella's going from door to door, somebody. And then she tries to act real important. She'll get out in the street and she'll hear a bark and she'll stop in the middle of the street. You know, she's going to handle this. Like, she's such a character. She's such a personality. She's just such a, I love that girl so much. And I want her to have the things that she needs. So anyways, I don't know what's going to go down with finding her a companion, but I'm definitely not going to get one of these ones that's out here because I don't want a lab. I don't want a running dog and stuff. I don't want a hyper dog, and I don't want a dog that wants to take off running all the goddamn time. So it leaves out a lot of dogs, and I can't get a rescue of like a pit bull or something, even though there's a sinjillion of them, because so many people have made them aggressive, and then the aggression comes out against Stella just because she's big and intimidating. She's very alpha. She's very bossy, and but she's very sweet. She will not fight back. She's just way more of like boss you around. But you go up after her, she'll sit there and just be bitten and beaten. Like, I've seen her take some abuse. Like, fuck. And she's just so sweet. And I just saw a rescue tape of another English Mastiff, and it was so scared. And he was being put inside the kennel of the place. He was so beat down. And just one of the experiences I had after Lucy died, and I was so upset, is I'd never had any English I didn't even know what the fuck they were. It was my husband who wanted one. And he went out and found one and then went and talked to these people. They were going to take a tattoo and money as trade. And so we got this whole thing worked out. And so I was like, okay, let's get this thing. Even though we already had 3 fucking dogs, but he was like insatiable like that. He always needed something else. Something else would make him happy. Something else would make him better. It's like, fuck, he was insatiable. And, but that dog and I fell madly in love with each other. And that bothered him. He was very bothered. And so, but when she died, I was traumatized, and he was already gone at that point. And, but when I had decided I was going to get another one, and that was my doctor who was the one who came up with that, because I was on fucking antidepressant. I was falling apart. This was when I was doing really bad on the Dark Knight. And so I was falling apart. I was on all this medicine and shit. And they had the dog lady who was the breeder. She had some friends who needed their dogs to be watched or something. And this is also when I didn't have good boundaries. And so I was do so many stupid ass shit. And so these people bring over their dogs, bring in this like 200-pound English Mastiff male and this 150 at least. She could have been 160, 170 pounds. Other English Mastiff and like 8 puppies that were just fucking born, like they were a couple weeks old. And the boy dog was so emotionally distraught. He did not know me. He didn't know anything about me. He sat at my fucking front door and cried the whole entire time. And if you even went near him, he started growling. He was so fucking pissed. And the girl dog, she just went straight into, okay, is this where I'm at now? I got to please these people. She would not get off of me. She would not leave me alone for 1 second. But so she was so consumed with me and what he thinks going on with the puppies. So it was the biggest fucking ordeal. A puppy died. I'm sitting here messaging these people, please come back. The puppies were not eating. They were getting sicker. This one was just whittling away. And the mom wouldn't lay with them. She wouldn't feed them. She wouldn't do anything. And calling the breeder, like oh my God, it was ridiculous. That's why I know like all of the ridiculousness that everybody's got to go through. It's just like all these ridiculous shit to just get you to like figure out. You got to set boundaries. You got to make better choices. Like all these different experiences. And so they ended up coming and they were pissed. Like I fucking fucked up their weekend at the goddamn amusement park. It's like, make better plans for yourself, people. God damn. But I really saw the English Mastiff thing. I learned a lot about their personalities and stuff then. And like, they're not good moms. It's very, if you are one that has puppies, you have to like take each puppy in there and do it. And they're very into the people. And they're very into their own families. And when they get separated from their families, or if their family's abusive to them, it's very, very devastating. I'm sure it is to all the different dogs. When their people treat them bad, how devastating and a pain that they feel. And that's just so sad. But just seeing that one go in there and just knowing how scared and how alone and stuff, because they are like a different level. I really think they are a different level. They are not just, like I've said, is like, I think that she comes, when she's being born, she's a predator. She's like a really big, like a rhino, a hippo, a cow. Like she's in a much bigger bodies. Like there's a difference, like the souls and like what they go into and stuff. And so that's why I think she's learning a lot, going through all this pain and having arthritis. It's teaching me about breeders and dogs and all of that different stuff. And she's also learning through pain and suffering. And and I don't even know what all goes on in her mind. I don't even know where all she goes in these dreams that she's going to. I just know that she's also transitioning. And I know also that these English Mastiff, these big giant breed dogs they're just more advanced. They're not just like a little chihuahua. They're not running around, nipping at everything. That's way more of an energy that is, kind of scared. And there's all different, it's all different levels. There's all different ways that your energy can go in and grow and adapt and learn about itself, to become conscious of itself. It's all about this consciousness, your conscious energy, what you're aware of, what you understand. And that is the huge distraction in this reality of what they want to keep you focused on, keep you distracted. They want to control your mind. But that's the evolution. That's the awakening, is learning that you have a mind that you need to control. You need to control your perspective. You need to control your outlook. You need to control what you take in, just like on the temperatures and stuff. And just like on the gunshot or any of the stuff, you need to figure out what am I thinking? What am I seeing? What am I feeling? What am I going through? What am I experiencing? And then if you find yourself all, you're the victim and everything, start, realizing that you are also predator for someone else. Like you're not just the victim. You're focused on the victim. You're focused on feeling bad because you feel bad. You feel bad, and it's the most favored outlet. You know, poor you. Everybody's so mean to you. God doesn't even like you. The whole world's out to get you. But you can make changes by changing your attitude, changing your toxic behaviors. There's all sorts of things you can do to improve your world. But you have to, you know, own it. You have to see it. You have to claim it. You know, claim your stories, claim your diagnosis, claim all your shit. And then, you know, what do you do with it? You just gonna sit there and look at it now? Just stake a claim and just sit there? Or are you gonna, you know, clean up the fucking mess? That's what I say. So anyways, now I've been talking a long while. So we'll see. Today's Sunday, I think. So today I think is Halloween. I don't know. It could be the 30th. I don't fucking know. I was expecting a lot of shit to go down this weekend. So today is Sunday. So we'll see what goes on. I'm sure there's going to be more protests. There's going to be more violence that breaks out in the protests. But definitely the protests that I've seen have not been as giant as what they've said. And I think that they've got police presence. They want this violence to break out. They've got these certain groups. They're going to have two distinct groups that aren't even American. They're going to go to fight, to bring in this other thing. It's all set up. But luckily, you know, it's just like the setup to get us to see. It's not, we don't have to go way deep into this shit. Like it's going to be explosive, but it's going to take us in the other direction. So anyways, we'll see how the day goes, and we'll see how tomorrow goes. But I'm still expecting that this week is going to be, you know, things crashing. And I'm sure the fuck I'm going to stress out about these motherfuckers and want to keep threatening me. And I now, though, I definitely feel like Whatcom County is going to be having some arrests out here. Probably King County, all these motherfucking counties, because these are all the fucking corruptors who are put in place. Like the Soros, they aren't even at that level. Like, it's just so crazy when you think about the power behind some of these people, and they aren't even the top tier. Like, fuck, it's crazy. So, but, you know, so many people play a part, because they want to be up there. They want to get up there with those rotten people. It's like, do you really? Like, I don't think you realize the rottenness is going on. I think a lot of people get up there with those rotten people and turn and run the other direction. So, anyways, we'll see how it goes. Just stay safe, and you know, it's apparently going to keep going slow. You know, because I really thought, like, fuck, they're going to just go in and just start blowing shit up this weekend. And that could be what's going to go today. But it could very well be that those are placed around to get us to talk, to get it so they can see where are these people? What's our next step? And I don't know how. I know this shit was figured out, like these quantum computers and stuff, like they know certain moves, but I don't think that, just like when they were showing me, after my dark night, and they started showing me when I was like questioning all this shit that I was going through, and they were showing me this big change is happening, it's going to start happening with all the people, and they were showing me, but like I said, it's way different to see it than to go through it. Going through it's way different, and that's what we're doing here. We're going through it. So I'll talk to you later.